Oh, it's Monday, March 1st, 2021. Hope you guys had a great weekend. You're watching the Daily Mix TV. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. AT&T has reached a deal with private equity firm TPG to spin off its DirecTV, AT&T TV, and Uverse businesses. They're forming a new jointly run entity called, interestingly enough, DirecTV. The soon-to-be former AT&T unit has lost millions of customers and seen its value drop sharply in recent years. This is all because streaming has surpassed satellite and traditional cable as their preferred entertainment vehicle, and costs to consumers are far less on streaming. Now, the new agreement provides a valuation of about $16.25 billion to DirecTV. That is a massive drop from the $48.5 billion that AT&T spent in 2015 to acquire the satellite provider. AT&T has meanwhile shifted focus from traditional pay TV with its purchase of Time Warner and the launch of streaming service HBO Max. So, a lot of layers to this onion. Let's start peeling them back. Back in 2015, when AT&T acquired DirecTV, its entire focus was to try and diversify AT&T's holdings. Now, the acquisition of DirecTV complemented other things that AT&T had in its portfolio. Here's the problem that I have with this. When you do an acquisition, especially one that's $48.5 billion, you got to do your homework. So it seems to me that they didn't deploy, at least not appropriately, their operations and marketing teams to do their homework, to do their research. So why do I say that? Well, back in 2015, you had the rise of higher bandwidth going out into suburban markets. They were already available in many urban markets, but not necessarily in suburbs of places like New York or LA and so on and so forth. Rural markets are a little different, so we'll put that aside for now. When you look at broadband at that time, they had just started increasing speeds to 200, 300 megs per second, which allowed you to stream high-definition content. So nowadays, you're talking a gig a second through services like Verizon Fios. That enabled me, as an example, to eliminate my relationship with Spectrum completely, which used to be Time Warner Cable. And on top of that, we use Apple TV, and we do our pay per selection in terms of, on Apple TV Plus, you can choose what channels you want to subscribe to and so on. It's far less expensive. I have 3 times the bandwidth, and I still pay less. So I'm a very typical customer in an urban metro like New York in terms of that behavior pattern. When you look at suburbia, it's starting to shift in the same thing. The same is now true of rural America. That's starting to shift. It's going to take a few more years, but AT&T should have known that before they acquired DirecTV. Now, here's the other issue. AT&T tried to fix this acquisition multiple times. They launched DirecTV Now, which was basically a live TV streaming platform off of DirecTV's signal that you could use your Apple TV or Fire TV for. Herein lies the challenge with that. When the service became popular, and I would know because I used it, when the service became popular, it was riddled with tech issues and failings. Then they changed it from DirecTV Now to AT&T TV to try and integrate other facets of AT&T's business and create bundle packages under AT&T Mobility. That means that as a new AT&T mobile subscriber, you would buy a phone and you'd get, unlimited text and data and all that fun stuff. And then on top of it, you might get a free year of DirecTV Now or AT&T TV, as it is now known. My whole point in this is very simple. AT&T dropped the ball on this acquisition. Now TPG and AT&T are doing a joint run entity to try and fix the problems at DirecTV. I hope for rural America's sake that they're able to do that. My parents is a great example. They retired into upstate New York and they love their DirecTV service. However, they've started asking me questions about other providers in the area. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I have a feeling that AT&T is going to have no choice but to completely offload all of this asset and sell the remaining balance to TPG. All right, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Well, given the latest product extensions from the Unliver-owned brand, likely a lot. That's right, there's a new type of Klondike product hitting shelves. Klondike Cones, which feature a chocolate-lined wafer cone, a sauce core, and various decadent toppings, will come in 5 flavors. So you've got vanilla chillin', you've got nuts for vanilla, classic chocolate, double down chocolate, and unicorn dreamin'. Now, to celebrate the launch of this new offering, the brand is offering fans the chance to win an ice cream cone-shaped chair. Yes, you heard me right. Designed as a private retreat for any home, and it's dubbed the Klondike Cone Zone. Quote, "These days, many of us could do with a little less multitasking at home and a little more ice cream. Eating a delicious Klondike cone deserves its own moment of bliss, which is why we engineered the Klondike Cone Zone, so fans can literally escape, take a break, and enjoy their sweet treat in the most satisfying way possible." And that's Russell Lilly, the Vice President of U.S. Ice Cream at Unilever. So for a chance to win the chair, consumers need to head over to the Klondike Twitter page, retweet the post with the hashtag "I would do anything for a Klondike Cone Zone sweepstakes." Wow, is that a mouthful? It retails for about $7, and consumers can find Klondike cones in major retailers nationwide, including Mass Market and Chain Drug. You know, I love contests like this. I'm a little weary of that hashtag because it is very long. But at the end of the day, it's flavor innovation. It's putting new product out there and continuing to remain relevant. Think about this, because there are a couple things going on here. They got a good promo going out the gate. They're using a trend name and flavor like unicorn dreaming to drive interest. So for them, it's a very smart move, and I'm not surprised. Unilever's always been good about this kind of thing. So it's interesting to see that they're doing this now. I mean, it is that time of year. It's March 1st. This announcement came out last week. So that means that they're hitting shelves already. The issue I'm gonna want to know about is what's the price parity between your core product and this new one, but also what the performance of the new one is going into the end of the summer. So it's going to be interesting to hear. We'll keep an eye on it for you and circle back. Lots of activity happening at Reckitt Benckiser Group. On Wednesday, last Wednesday, the company said it's selling its Scholl Footcare brand to Boston-based private equity firm Yellowwood Partners, while acquiring the Biofreeze brand from Performance Health, which is a company owned by Madison Dearborn Partners. Now, on the Scholl front, Reckitt Benckiser stated the transaction is subject to consultation with its work council in France. Completion of the deal is expected to occur by the third quarter of this year, and no financial details were disclosed. RB, that's Reckitt Benckiser, had acquired Scholl as part of its acquisition of SSL International back in 2010. The proposed sale also includes the Amopi, Crack, and Eulactol Footcare brands, according to the company. So, lots going on with Reckitt Benckiser here. Let's dive right into it. So when you look at what they're doing, they're forsaking their foot care health brands and portfolio to focus more on their topical pain relief portfolio. Now bear in mind, Reckitt Benckiser also owns Nurofen, Move, and Tempra. So for them to acquire Biofreeze, it's a very strong strategic and synergistic fit with the rest of their portfolio. What I want to know is, are they going to do a shelf blocking strategy? So shelf blocking typically means when a company like a Unilever owns multiple brands in a space where they literally block out the shelf with their entire portfolio. I'm hoping that's what they're going to do because it would be smart. But at the end of the day, look, I'm a Biofreeze customer, so I'm a little biased in this, but I do have to say, it's interesting that they're focusing on topical pain relief and forsaking foot care. So I'm wondering why. Maybe they know something we don't, but we will certainly keep an eye on it. Target's newest Shop Within a Shop initiative is with a tech giant. Target is teaming up with Apple to open mini Apple shops in 17 Target stores this month alone, with more set to bow in the fall. While the Mastige retailer already does sell Apple products, you walk in and in the electronics department, you've got a standard display. It's typically one display. On top, you've got the pegboard with the accessories, and down below, the lockbox where you have to get an associate to come help you to purchase your iPad or a watch or whatever it is that you're purchasing. So they already have that. But this deal literally doubles the amount of floor space given to the company's products compared to that typical display that I just explained. The new store within a store concept is actually being designed very much like Apple's own stores. So that very experiential vibe and low tables so customers can try out products. Interestingly enough, Apple is also training the staff from these 17 stores to ensure that consumers have the best experience possible. Target also unveiled a new landing page on its website as well as on their app featuring an extended assortment of Apple products. Now, Target's deal with Apple is the latest in a series of ongoing collaborations. We know Target is brilliant at this kind of thing. Typically, it's in tabletop or fashion, but not surprising that they're saddling up with Apple and the electronics department. So the retailer, looking at their other collaborations, they're set to open, Ulta Beauty shops in 100 doors this year, hundreds more coming down the pipe in the coming years. It's also expanding their partnership with Levi Strauss & Company. They plan to roll out a curated in-store display dedicated to the Red Tab brand to 500 locations by this fall. Excuse me. So very smart for Target and Apple. I'm going to make a prediction, which I normally don't do. I believe that Apple will release a exclusive product with Target later this year focused on the Red initiative. Now, I say that because both companies support Red. Apple has a number of products that are available in their Red tone that benefits the Red initiative. Same with Target. So for them to do that would be very smart as part of this agreement. Only time will tell, but very, very smart approach for Apple, especially when you get into secondary and tertiary markets where there may not be an Apple store. This is Apple's opportunity to expand their retail power and presence by impacting those markets. Woke and cancel culture in brand world, it is getting absolutely insane. And it looks like potatoes are becoming more woke now too, at least for a moment. Toy manufacturer Hasbro created some confusion last week when they pulled the Mr. salutation off of the Mr. Potato Head brand, but not from the toy itself. Yes, I know, it's amazing. The company, which has been making the potato-shaped plastic toy for about 70 years, announced last week that it was dropping Mr. from the brand name in an effort to make sure all feel welcome in the potato head world. That's according to the company. That, of course, sent the Twitterverse into full explosion. The backlash and resulting accusations of pandering by fans and consumers from all generations prompted Hasbro to clarify in this tweet that the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head characters still exist, name and all, but the branding on the box is just going to be Potato Head. So, quote, while it was announced today that the Potato Head brand name and logo are dropping the Mr., I am proud to confirm that Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head aren't going anywhere and will remain Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I love the play on words. I am proud. Brilliant social strategy. Very smart. Both Hasbro and Mattel, amongst a constellation of others, have been updating their classic brands to appeal to the parents of children today. Now, Barbie, as an example, traded her blonde, blue-eyed Imogen for multiple skin tones and body types, while American Girl is now selling a boy doll. Hasbro said Mr. Potato Head, which, as I said, has been around for about 70 years, needed a modern makeover. So as such, on top of the branding change, the toy manufacturing giant announced it's also launching a, quote, Create Your Potato Head Family Kit. Now, this kit comes with 2 potato parents and a potato baby. The video announcing the kit said it was for modern families and featured a variety of family makeups, including with same-sex potato parents. Now, this is all, according to the company, an effort to promote gender equality and inclusion. So, there's a lot going on with this, and frankly, I don't necessarily know that this was a smart move. When you're looking at a classic and an iconic brand like Mr. Potato Head, I mean, folks, every day I look at Mr. Potato Head from the New York Yankees, my favorite team. Go Yankees! Almost time for season to kick off or to hit off. But when I look at Mr. Potato Head in this form and what they're proposing or what they're going to do, if it had always been called Potato Head, it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know that Hasbro has earned any points by doing this the way that they have. They should have done it perhaps in a more subtle way, not with basically taking a baseball bat and hitting their consumers over the head with it. Now, when you look at this generation of children, I can understand making sure that you're pandering to parents because they're the ones that are purchasing the toys and so on and so forth. The one thing in this entire story that I'm very proud of is the Create Your Potato Head family, wherein they are including same-sex parents. I think that's very important because there are a lot of children out there who do have same-sex parents. They run into issues all the time, like on, Daddy Visitor Day or Mommy Visitor Day or whatever it's called these days. I understand that from that point of view. But to eliminate gender as a whole from the brand name almost seems like a PR stunt at the end of the day and disingenuous. So I don't know what's going to happen. Then on the other side of the spectrum, which you can't even make this crap up, you've got a diversity seminar at Coca-Cola gone completely wrong. They literally told their audience to be less white. And they put up a slide with what that means. I'm not going to show it because, frankly, it's ridiculous. But it's prompted a lot of backlash against Coca-Cola, for me included. I have been a Diet Coke drinker my entire life. And as of last week, I'm no longer supporting that because you're going to insult that many consumers who've been with your brand from day one. That's a problem. And I actually switched over to Diet Mountain Dew. My friend Nicole Portwood, as we discussed last week, is the VP of marketing for Mountain Dew. Nicole, I've been drinking Mountain Dew most of my life, here and there, not with any regularity. Now, you got me for life. So what does this mean for brands in general? The pursuit of political gain by politicians is affecting them more and more every single day. So what does that mean? This image was sent to me last night by a friend to illustrate what I'm talking about. Politicians are playing a game with our future, and it's just sickening. They're pouring fuel on the woke and cancel culture mentalities in this country. And if you dare to disagree with either of those groups, they're going to go to the ends of the earth to try and discredit you and cancel you, even manufacturing evidence to their own advantage. And they've even said that. So look, enough is enough. The beauty of this country is that the pendulum often swings both ways. Let's hope we swing back to some semblance of common sense and stop giving into special interest groups hell-bent on creating discourse. Look, I would never forsake someone for who they are or who they feel they are from a gender standpoint. My point of view, and this is strictly my opinion, is that if you're a good human, that's what matters. It doesn't matter if you were born a boy and you don't feel like a boy or a man and you want to be a woman. Nothing wrong with that. It doesn't matter if you marry this person of a same gender. Who cares? As long as you're happy and you're a good person, that's what should matter. Now, yes, you do have pockets of population in this country that are stuck in the 1950s mentality, and there is something wrong with that. But I don't know that hitting them over the head is a good idea. Education always wins out overall. The minute you can spend time explaining to someone on their terms why their thinking is wrong with respect to how equality works and all of those things, more often than not, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to listen and have that conversation and change their minds. All right, folks, I'm out of time. I'm sorry I wasn't around a lot last week. It got very busy and there were a lot of things that went on. I will get into it a little more this week because there have been some really cool developments. Just a heads up, there will not be an episode on Friday, so we're going to have an extra long episode on Thursday. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great one, guys.